Consistency, boundaries, quality time, positive reinforcement, all of these matter. But there is one parenting strategy that stands above all the others. One strategy that, when done well, can transform not just your relationship with your child today, but who they become as adults. And most parents never learned this strategy. And yet, research shows that this one skill has more impact on a child's long-term emotional health than almost anything else we do. Let me paint you a picture. It is a Tuesday afternoon. You have just gotten home from work. Traffic was terrible. You have a splitting headache. Your phone has been buzzing nonstop with urgent messages. You walk in the door, and the house is a disaster. You ask your child to please clean up their toys from the living room. They ignore you. You ask again. Still nothing. You ask a third time, and they roll their eyes and say, "In a minute," and you snap. You yell, "I have asked you 3 times. Why do you never listen to me? You are so disrespectful." Your child's face crumbles. They start crying. "Fine, I hate this family." They storm off to their room and slam the door so hard, a picture frame rattles on the wall. Now you're standing alone in the messy living room and the shame spiral begins. What is wrong with me? I have ruined my child forever. I am a terrible parent. If you have ever been in a moment like this, you are not alone. Every parent yells. Every parent loses their temper. Every parent has moments they're not proud of. Now, here is where most parenting advice stops. Most experts will tell you, do not yell in the first place. Stay calm, count to 10. Use a calm voice. Great advice. Completely useless in this moment, because you already yelled. The damage is done. Right? Wrong. What happens next is actually more important than the yelling itself. What you do in the next 15 minutes will determine whether your child develops a healthy sense of self or a lifetime of self-blame. No pressure. But seriously, this is where the magic happens. This is where most parents miss the opportunity, and this is where the single most important parenting strategy comes in. So what do most parents do in this moment? Let's be honest. Option 1, pretend it never happened. Wait until they calm down. Act like nothing happened. Hope they forget about it. Avoid the awkwardness. Option 2, double down. Well, maybe if you listened the first time, I would not have to yell. You made me lose my temper. Option 3, quick apology to ease your guilt. Sorry, I yelled, okay? Now can you please clean up your room like I asked? None of these work. And here is why. Let's talk about what is happening in your child's brain right now while they are alone in their room. Your child is overwhelmed. They are in distress. The parent they depend on for safety just became scary. And now they have to figure out how to get back to feeling safe and secure on their own. When we leave children alone in this state, they have to rely on the only coping mechanism available to them: self-blame. Self-blame sounds like this in a child's mind: something is wrong with me, I am bad, I make bad things happen, I am unlovable. Now, you might be thinking, but wait, they were ignoring me and being disrespectful. They should feel a little bad about that. Here's the distinction. Feeling bad about a behavior is healthy. Feeling bad about who you are as a person is devastating. There is a difference between I did something wrong and I am something wrong. One leads to learning, the other leads to shame. A psychologist named Ronald Fairborn explained why children blame themselves. He said that for kids, it is better to be a sinner in a world ruled by God than to live in a world ruled by the devil. What does that mean? It means it is actually adaptive for children to blame themselves. Because if they can believe they are the problem, then they can hold on to the idea that their parents and the world around them are safe and good. If the problem is me, then I can fix it by being better. But if the problem is my parents or my world being unsafe, that is terrifying and uncontrollable. So children take the blame. They internalize it. They write stories about themselves. I am bad. I am too much. I am not enough. Something is fundamentally wrong with me. And while self-blame helps children cope in the moment, it destroys them as adults. Think about the core fears so many adults carry. I am unlovable. Something is wrong with me. I make bad things happen. I am not worthy of good things. These are not random insecurities. These are childhood stories written in moments of distress that were never addressed by the adults around them. Adults who grew up with self-blame are vulnerable to depression, anxiety, deep feelings of worthlessness, toxic shame, difficulty in relationships, people-pleasing, perfectionism, and an inability to trust themselves. None of us want that for our children. And here is the incredible news. We can prevent it, not by being perfect parents, but by what we do after we mess up. So, what is the one thing that matters more than almost anything else in parenting? It is called repair. Repair is the act of going back to a moment of disconnection, taking responsibility for your behavior, and acknowledging the impact it had on your child. That is it. That is the strategy. And it changes everything. Now, before you think, oh, I already apologized to my kids, let me explain why repair is different from a simple apology. An apology often tries to shut a conversation down. I am sorry, I yelled. Can we move on now? A repair opens a conversation up. It creates safety. It rewrites the story. It models accountability, emotional regulation, and what healthy relationships actually look like. When you repair, you are not just removing your child's story of self-blame. You are adding in all the elements that were missing in the first place: safety, connection, coherence, love, goodness. You are essentially saying to your child, I will not let this chapter of your life end in self-blame. Yes, this chapter will still contain the event of me yelling at you, that I can ensure this chapter has a different ending, and therefore a different title, theme, and lesson learned. Here is something powerful to understand about memory. Memory is not just the original event. Memory is the original event combined with every other time you have remembered that event. This is why therapy works. When you remember painful experiences from your past within a safer, more connected relationship, the event remains, but your story of the event changes. And when your story changes, you change. With repair, we effectively change the past. We rewrite the story while it is still being written. This is why repair is the single most important parenting strategy. Because it is not about being perfect. It is about being human and accountable and loving all at once. It is about modeling for your children what it looks like to mess up and take responsibility, what it looks like to hurt someone and make it right, what it looks like to be imperfect and still be worthy of love. Think about what we are actually teaching our children when we repair. Mistakes do not define you. Everyone messes up, even adults. What matters is what you do next. You can hurt someone you love and still be a good person. Taking responsibility is a strength, not a weakness. Relationships can have hard moments and still be safe. These are the lessons that create emotionally healthy adults. Adults who can navigate conflict. Adults who can take responsibility. Adults who can have healthy relationships. So how do we repair? There are 2 steps, and both are essential. Step 1. Repair with yourself. This might surprise you, but you cannot offer compassion, groundedness, or understanding to your child before you access those qualities within yourself. Self-repair means separating your identity, who you are, from your behavior, what you did. It means telling yourself 2 things are true. I am not proud of my latest behavior, and my latest behavior does not define me. Even as I struggle on the outside, I remain good inside. You are a good parent who is having a hard time, not a bad parent, a good parent having a hard time. This is not about letting yourself off the hook. This is precisely what keeps you on the hook for change. Because when you are spiraling in shame, I am a terrible parent. I have ruined my child. What is wrong with me? All your energy goes into that spiral. You have nothing left for actually changing or repairing. But when you can say, I am a good parent who had a hard moment, I can learn from this. Now you have energy for growth. Now you can actually think about what you want to do differently next time, and you can use your energy to go repair with your child. Step 2, repair with your child. There is no exact formula, but a good repair usually contains 3 elements. Name what happened. Take responsibility. State what you would do differently next time. It might sound like this. Hey, I have been thinking about what happened yesterday when I asked you to clean up. I am sorry I yelled at you like that. I am sure that felt really scary and overwhelming, and it was not your fault. I was stressed from my day, and I did not handle my frustration well. I am working on staying calm even when I feel frustrated and asking for what I need in a kinder way. 15 seconds. That is all it takes. A 15-second intervention can have a lifelong impact. You have just replaced your child's story of self-blame with a story of self-trust, safety, and connection. What a massive upgrade. Now let's talk about what repair is not. Because most of us naturally do things that feel like repair, but actually make things worse. Not repair sounds like this. I am sorry I yelled at you, but if you had just listened the first time, this would not have happened. Or, if you were not so defiant and actually did what I asked, I would not have to raise my voice. These are not repairs. These are blame disguised as apologies. These interventions fail at reconnection because they insinuate that your child caused your reaction, and that is simply not true. Your child's behavior might have been the trigger, but your reaction is your responsibility. Always. Your child did not make you yell. You yelled because you were overwhelmed and did not have the capacity in that moment to regulate your emotions. That is human. That is understandable. But it is yours to own. When we blame our children for our emotional reactions, we are teaching them that other people's emotions are their fault. We are teaching them that they are responsible for managing everyone else's feelings. We are teaching them to walk on eggshells and lose themselves in relationships. That is not a model of emotion regulation we want to pass on to the next generation. A real repair takes full responsibility. It does not include the word but. It does not include blame. It focuses on your behavior and your commitment to doing better. So what is the long-term impact of repair? What does it look like when children who were repaired with become adults? Your adult child will not spiral in self-blame when they make a mistake. They will be able to say, I messed up. It was not my best moment. I can do better next time. Your adult child will not take on blame for someone else's mistakes. They will not stay in relationships where they are blamed for other people's emotions or reactions. Your adult child will know how to take responsibility for their behavior because you modeled how to take responsibility for yours. Your adult child will know how to repair in their own relationships with their partners, their friends, their coworkers, and one day, their own children. Repairing with a child today sets the stage for these critical adult relationship patterns. And here is an added bonus. Once you have reconnected with your child through repair, you can teach them the skill they did not have in the first place. This is how children actually change their behavior. So maybe the next day you say, I notice that sometimes when I ask you to do something, you do not respond right away. I get that you might be in the middle of something or need a minute to finish what you're doing. What if next time, instead of ignoring me, you could say something like, can I have 5 more minutes to finish this? Then I will know you heard me, and we can figure out a plan together. Can we try that? Now you're teaching your child how to regulate their understandable disappointment and communicate effectively and respectfully with another person. That teaching never would have happened if you had blamed them for your reaction. Shame closes learning, connection opens it. Now, you might be thinking, this sounds great, but I think it is too late for me. My kid is older. I have done way worse than yelling about dinner. I have made too many mistakes. The damage is done. If you take only one thing from this video, let it be this. It is not too late. It is never too late. How do I know? Try this exercise with me. Imagine right now that one of your parents calls you, or if your parents are not alive, imagine you find a letter you have never seen before. And in that call or letter, they say this, hey, I know this sounds out of the blue, but I have been thinking a lot about your childhood. And I think there were a lot of moments that felt really bad to you, and you were right to feel that way. Those moments were not your fault. They were times when I was struggling, and if I could go back, I would have stepped aside, calmed myself down, and then found you to help you with whatever you were struggling with. I am sorry. And if you are ever willing to talk to me about any of those moments, I will listen. Not to have a rebuttal, I will listen to understand. I love you. Pause for a moment. How does that feel? Most adults have a visceral reaction to this exercise. Many people cry. Many people say, that would not change everything. But it would change some things. It would change important things. Here is what we know with certainty. If you have a child, that child is younger than you are. Always true. The story of their life is shorter and even more amenable to editing. The wounds are fresher. The patterns are not as deeply ingrained. So if that imagined exercise had an impact on you, and chances are it did, imagine the impact an actual repair will have on your child. See? It is never too late. You can start today. Maybe you yelled last week, last month, last year. Maybe there is a pattern of disconnection that has been going on for years. You can still repair. You can still say, I have been thinking about how I have handled things. I have not always responded well. I am sorry. I am working on doing better. It might feel awkward. Your child might not respond the way you hope. They might need time. They might test whether you really mean it. That is okay. Repair is not a one-time fix. Repair is a practice. It is something you do again and again, building trust over time. The next time you yell or snap or say something you regret, you have an opportunity. Step 1. Repair with yourself. Separate your identity from your behavior. You are a good parent having a hard time. Step 2. Repair with your child. Name what happened. Take responsibility. State what you will do differently. 15 seconds. That is all it takes to rewrite a story, to replace self-blame with self-trust, to model what healthy relationships look like. And over time, those 15-second repairs add up. They compound. They become the foundation of your child's sense of self. Your child learns, mistakes do not define me. I am worthy of repair. Relationships can be messy and still be safe. People who love me take responsibility. I can trust myself and others. These are the beliefs that create emotionally healthy adults. Adults who can navigate conflict. Adults who can take responsibility. Adults who can love deeply without losing themselves. All because you learn to repair. So the next time you mess up, and you will because all parents do not spiral in shame. Do not beat yourself up. Do not convince yourself you have ruined your child forever. Instead, remind yourself, step 1 is rupture. Check. I crushed it. Step 2 is repair. I can do this. I am actually right on track. Make repair your focus. Get good at it. Practice it. Because there is almost nothing within our relationships that can have as much impact. This is the single most important parenting strategy. Not perfection. Not never making mistakes. Not having all the answers. Repair. Your children do not need perfect parents. They need parents who can own their mistakes, reconnect after disconnection, and model what it looks like to be human and accountable and loving all at once. You can be that parent. Starting today. Starting with the very next hard moment. Because that hard moment, it is not a failure. It is an opportunity. An opportunity to show your child what real strength looks like, what real love looks like, what a real relationship looks like. Take that opportunity, repair, and watch what happens.